everybody. Thanks for coming down. I'm so happy to be presenting this work. The full name is Krakatoa, Volcanic Cataclysm, Shockwaves and Sunsets. And I'll give you a little quick artist talk. I'm the sort of talking program notes, spoken program notes, which I think is more fun than rustling bits of paper. Krakatoa Island was an island, a volcano island in the Sunda Straits, north of here, Indonesia. And in 1883 it started to rumble more than normal and lots more smoke coming out of it. And on the 27th of August in 1883, the whole island just exploded in a volcanic eruption. There was virtually nothing left. It caused shock waves, went around the globe about 60 times. You could feel the energy. It shot many millions of tons of volcanic ash high up into the atmosphere that circulated the world for about 3 years, all over the world, and affected the colour of the sunsets all over the world, including being recorded in paintings by European painters like Edvard Munch in Norway and William Ashcroft in England. But I'm particularly touched that it affected the art world in Europe, as well as all these other more obvious volcanic and volcanic associated activities effects that it precipitated. And so what I've done is with the music, I've divided it up into about 15 parts, and I just hop from one to the other. They're very short, and I'll read them out to you now, and then I'll tell you which one I'm doing as I go. So there's a reverie, which is just like, it's just music that conveys contemplating something. It's coming into the process of driving your car, getting dinner, getting here, ringing people. It's a reverie space where we're really going back in time, 140 years odd. There's a premonition, there's several premonitions, 1, 2 and 3, and they become more and more pressing as they appear. They become more aggravated and disturbing as they appear, because both humans and animals have premonition about events coming. There's a section called the quiet, which is just before an eruption happens. All the animals and some of the humans, but mostly the animal kingdom, senses that something terrible is about to happen. They've seen the smoke, they've felt the tremors, they've felt the air shaking, and they all go quiet and clear out. There's another section. This is not in order, and I'm not going to be telling the story in order tonight. It's something I like about this work. They hop backwards and forwards through the timeline. There's one called Birds at Dawn, which is a kind of like birds talking. It's just the normal happy life in that Sunda Straits region. Then I put this part in, which I call the Lord of Time plays his flute, and it's really alluding to the greater forces of nature and intelligence, which see in a much bigger picture than we do. We see things in 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years. The forces of nature and the universe and the formation of planets and things like that, we're talking about billions and billions of years. So our timelines are hardly a second in their awareness. And it just gives a little bit of a standing back context for you about, from our incredibly self-centric world and view of the world, that, whoa, that's right, there's a whole, we're actually little players in a big game. There's a section called the Sunsets, which alludes to the effect of the volcanic ash changing the colour. Now, Edvard Munch, most people will know his picture, The Scream, which is that face with the hands doing this. He actually painted about 10 or 11 versions of that, and some of the ones from this time were bright red and orange in the background. He described them as terrifying colours that he couldn't explain that were affecting the light in Europe. Birds at night, again, a good, healthy, normal moment in time, nothing going wrong yet. Birds in the sun, similar sort of thing, but a little bit more, something's going on. Then we come to the more dramatic stuff, the cataclysm, which is this starting the really big change process which can't go back anymore. News from afar, from in that time, either you had notes travelling by ship or there was some primitive form of cable and Morse code, etc. Sunsets, shock waves from the volcano. There's one called looking up, which just means wherever it is in the cycle of catastrophe, before, during or after, we have this ability to just have moments where we are able to live in some other space than the actual catastrophe, even if it's only for a short period. So these are the little stories within the story. But basically, the whole premise of the work is that no matter how sophisticated we think we are, with our phones and our computers and cars and technology, the planet's still the one in charge. We can't argue with that. If there's an earthquake or a tidal wave or a tectonic plate moves up or down, we have to deal with that. That's not an option. We can't say, oh, no thanks. So, Krakatoa, volcanic cataclysm, shockwaves and sunsets. And I'm not looking at Facebook, I'm just checking your time because my watch broke the other day. And,
Sure.
So I have to use my phone, unfortunately, to time this whole thing. So I'm going to start with one of the reverie sections.